Hello. Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. I know I'm doing this a little bit late, but here it is, the leveling guide for Brutus of Divine Judgment. Um, I'm going to give you guys a quick summary, like what to do in the campaign. I guess at the end, I'm going to tell you, because this is something I didn't mention in the last video at all. I'm going to tell you where to expect to switch into Brutus, because virtually you have two options. Number one, you can just do the entire campaign with Sunder and not worry about anything. And I did practice run. Today's practice run was the best. I finished the entire campaign in about 4 hours and 10 minutes, which is my personal best, which is pretty decent for like having 5 practice runs or something like that and never having practice runs before. So this is, Sunder, generally speaking, very smooth. You can just, do literally what I was doing during the campaign, and after the campaign, just swap with your saved refund points and, gold to respec like 25, 30 points, and you would be fine. Option number two, what you could do is, for example, just switch to Brutus the moment you get it. I don't know, you're gonna find 1 chaos or 2 chaos during the campaign. You're gonna buy Brutus and then switch immediately. That is also an option that you can do. But we're gonna talk about that later at the very end. For now, in this video, I would like to show you guys how the campaign went with Sunder, with a two-handed weapon. So basically, full SSF, right? I didn't buy any items throughout the run, nothing like that. It's just fully self-found, and yeah. And if you're a better player than me, I'm sure you are, then you could do faster than 4 hours, for example. Like a much better player, I don't know, Angormus, for example, with this build probably would do like 3 hours or like 3 hours, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. So yeah. With that being said, let's jump into it. Act one. The first thing I do is switch to ground slam. I picked the ground slam as a reward for killing the guy before. Um, and I would say that the ground slam early on is probably like the most efficient skill to use. I bet that someone is going to disagree, but it doesn't really matter that much because we use ground slam until level, I believe it's level 12. After killing Fairgraves, you get the Sunder, and after at this point until the end of the game, you pretty much get Sunder. Like I'm just going to be skipping a little bit because obviously we're not going to be watching all this 4 hours. That would be ridiculous. I did this guy to get the Quicksilver Flask, right? I was gonna like keep on skipping. Roas over here. At this point, after killing the Roas and getting to the caverns, you want to get Frostblink. This is really important. This is something, for example, I wasn't doing a long time ago before. When I was doing one practice run 4 months ago before the previous league, Frostblink, obviously, as soon as you can get it, it's going to drastically increase the speed at which you're going to be moving through. So, Frostblink. Here you have an option. You can either just keep on going, right, and get to your waypoint first, and then go back to the cavern and then kill the crab for +1 passive points, or you can just kill it immediately. So, up to you. Some people I know just go for the waypoint first and then go back because it's going to be easier to fight. Sometimes this crab has annoying essences. It's actually hard to deal with. And after that, we're going through this area. I don't think like much changes at this point, right? There's no new gems necessarily. I'm just going to keep on skipping because after we're going to go over this, I'm going to talk about the passive tree very closely. Like passive tree, in my opinion, like the gems. Obviously, this is going to be kind of understandable, like by default, right? You're going to check the gems in PoE, and you're going to immediately see what's going on. But I guess the most important part here is to explain what passives to go for first when it comes to the passive tree, right? So like Act 1, at this point I do believe I didn't switch to Sunder yet. You can switch to Sunder after you kill Fairgraves, as I mentioned before. Oh, there we go. I switched to Sunder. This is also the moment where, important part, a Leap Slam after killing Brutus. So, after with Leap Slam and Frostblink, you have your basically mobility setup done. And after that, you can just, cruise through the campaign with mobility skills. Of course, Leap Slam preferably supported with momentum and faster attacks if you have, appropriate links. And then Thunder, of course, and then Intimidating Cry is quite important. Intimidating Cry, every time you use it, for the next two slams, or next two attacks, generally speaking, you're going to get double damage on your next two attacks. So that's definitely going to be very useful throughout the campaign, right? After that, we jump into Act 2. I think Act 1 took like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like this. Not much is happening in Act 2 in the beginning. After that, the most important thing I would say is that you need to use Blood Rage. This is a big difference. Like, using Blood Rage and not using Blood Rage is going to be a difference of 20, maybe 25 minutes throughout the entire campaign. Because Blood Rage by itself, it gives you attack speed, which is already very useful. But the most important thing that it does is that it gives you frenzy charges, which gives you additional attack speed. So all combined, this will definitely drastically increase the speed at which you're going to be moving with your leap slam. So Blood Rage is very important. Other than that, when it comes to the aura over here, I didn't mention in Act 1, you're definitely supposed to pick up Precision early on. Precision aura is going to carry your accuracy throughout the entire campaign. You don't need to worry about it. And here, what I would do after doing these first quests in Act 2, I would definitely go for Herald of Ash. Herald of Ash is definitely very good for Sunder because it just increases the clear speed ever so slightly, and at the same time still increases damage. So for 25% mana reservation, I think it's pretty good. The best part about this is that if you're going to level up Precision and Herald of Ash, this is going to later on put your mana at about half. And this is what I found being comfortable. For example, if you wanted to use Precision, I think Precision is mandatory, by the way. But if you wanted to use Precision with something else, like for example Haste, then your mana is going to be about 25, 30% maybe. And sometimes it feels like it's a little bit low. So, something to keep in mind. I think like Herald of Ash into Precision is a pretty nice setup, and you should go for it. Now in Act 3, since your gem setup is done, honestly, like after that, like not much is happening, right? In Act 3, you're just progressing through the game. Obviously, it's important in Act 3 to do all the, in Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 to do all the Ascendancy quests, trials, because then you're going to get the first 2 passive points from Chieftain, which will cover your resistances very, very nicely. So as you can see, I do believe I finished Act 3 in, I don't know, it was like an hour and 20 minutes, maybe something like that. I think even a little bit less than that. I think it was, hour and 20 minutes, something like this. So like not too bad, not too shabby. Then in Act 4, there is something important that I've learned today, and I very much enjoyed playing with it. Towards the end of Act 4, I think after you turn Diala into, old lady, you get to choose the support gems, and I am very much sold on the Fist of War. I was experimenting with Fist of War today, and it feels really, really good. To you guys that don't know what Fist of War does, it basically empowers your attack every 2.5 seconds, I believe. Then it scales a little, to even a little bit more often. But it gives you a very big damage and area boost every 2.5 seconds. Guess what? It works really, really well on something relatively slow like slams. Additionally, it works even better throughout the campaign simply because it gives you... It's not like throughout the campaign you leap slam and you attack. You leap slam and you attack. Sometimes you're going to be leaping 3 or 4 times before going to use one attack. That means that the uptime on this Fist of War support is going to be very, very high. Throughout the campaign, you're actually going to have it like pretty much every single attack while, jumping through packs, because you're not going to kill every single one of them if you want to be like, somewhat efficient, right? If you want to beat the campaign quickly. If you don't care about the speed and you're like a slower player, then Fist of War is still absolutely okay. But I would probably, instead of Fist of War as a reward, take, well, you can take Pulverize. Pulverize is in Act 3, and you would have to do the Siosa quest, which takes quite a lot of time. So either you would in Act 6 need to get Pulverize. Pulverize is very good support, or you would just need to do Siosa quest in Act 3. And yeah, but I'm really sold on Fist of War. Definitely I would go for it if I was picking the reward from Act 4. Now just gonna keep on going a little bit here. Because this at the time that you have your skill set up, like not much is just happening. at this point. Obviously, I'm not going to be giving you guys like tips on how to like what quests to do and which ones to avoid, because there's like a I'm not going to exaggerate if I'm going to say that there's probably like 500 videos on YouTube, like how to like speedrun the campaign on Path of in Path of Exile, so all that stuff. So yeah, with the chieftain, the first ascendancy, it's very easy to cap the resistance throughout the campaign. Very easy, because at this point you get 15% resistance, and of course your fire resistance applies to all other resistances, which simply means that all you have to do is basically get some ruby rings, craft some, the lowest tier fire resistance on your gear, whatever possible, and you're capped. That's all there is to it, right? It's that simple to cap yourself. So, Chieftain Ascendancy, of course, horrible for speed running because you don't really get any damage from it. Like if I picked actually like a different Ascendancy, that would give me some speed, then I bet that I could, do this campaign like, I don't know, 3 hours 30 minutes or something like that. Maybe if I did Slayer or something like that in comparison. But Chieftain is very comfy. Chieftain is very comfy because it's like so easy to itemize. It's so easy to get like good gear on this character that yeah. As you can see here, we started Act 6, I believe, like 2 hours and 10 minutes in, so like slightly above 2 hours for the first five acts, which is pretty decent. And then in Act 6, let me think if anything important was happening in Act 6. I think at this point nothing changes, because at this point I was only getting my gem setup was done. At this point I was only getting better weapons. One recommendation I could give you though is if you want to, it's probably the best to spend your essences almost always on weapons, and like pick white weapons from the ground, because every now and then you're just going to get like a double fizz or one fizz, and you will be able to craft fizz from the bench. And it's important. I think by far the most important thing is to keep your weapon updated as a Sunder build. Generally speaking, for like warriors and stuff like that, for melee classes, because even if you're going to get additional link, even if you have a situation, for example, where you have to choose between like a better weapon or extra link, I don't know, in Act 3, Act 4, better weapon is always better. Always better. Because extra link, these skills don't have quality at this point, they're low level. Extra link is most cases going to be like 20% more damage. And if you're going to improve your weapon, then sometimes improving your weapon is going to be double damage. I had situations when my damage would jump by up to 2.5 times, because that's how big of an upgrade on the weapon I had. So definitely the most important thing for you to worry about is weapon, because other things you don't need to really worry about much, because you're playing chieftain, so you're probably gonna have 75% all rest anyway. So yeah, weapon is gonna be like the biggest damage boost always. Now, like when it comes to this run, I'm going to skip through Act 6, but in Act 7 and 8 I slowed down dramatically. I don't know, partially maybe it was because I was slightly tired, but the most important reason was because I trolled. I messed up. And this is one of the biggest advices I could give you in the campaign if you want to run it fast. If you have your gem set up correctly, and you have all your skills together and everything is working, even if you find like a small upgrade, without links, without proper colors, do not swap. I lost so much time on this because I found an upgrade. I had a really good setup on my helmet, and then I found an upgrade with really horrible links and gem colors for me, and then I just couldn't change it anymore, because after that I found a really good weapon and I couldn't really even put it on my character because I didn't have appropriate colors and links. So even if your gear is not great, but it has appropriate colors and links, keep it. It's really not worth it in the campaign to change for something better and mess up your gem setup, because you're gonna start finding better weapons and actually important pieces of gear, and then you can just do it easily, right? You can just replace. You don't have to worry. But if you're going to mess up your gem setup and link setup, then all of a sudden everything is going to start falling apart. I can with confidence say that in Act 7 and not Act 8, Act 7 and Act 8, yes. In those two acts, I probably wasted like 15 minutes there. If I avoided doing these mistakes, then I would probably go below 4 hours. It would be very close to below 4 hours. So So yeah, this is something to mention. And we're doing lab here, of course. Then all this stuff. And at this point, I was just like finishing up at this point. Once again, not a great runner at all. I had problems figuring out when it comes to layouts very often where I'm supposed to go. So plenty of time wasted. Of course, my clicks are not perfect either. So like can't compare myself with someone actually good. Like I don't know, Angormus, Karn, anyone really. That can speedrun this game extremely fast, like I'm Excel. But yeah, 4 hours, like it's barely above 4 hours for me, is a pretty good result. And yeah, I guess this is it. Now we're going to jump into the passive tree. I'm going to explain one by one pretty much what is the best progression. I run this league. I run like 4 practice runs, and I think that this setup is very good and very comfy. It's very hard to beat it. So I'm going to explain what the best setup in my opinion is. Okay, welcome back. So let's jump into it, right? This is your basic looking, like the most basic warrior that you can think of. At the end, I had like a really mediocre weapon. It's actually a horrible weapon. It's 191 DPS, 40,000 damage average. So like this is nothing special. You could honestly, like what I was doing here is actually so tragic that at this point you could just do the recipe with rare rustic sash, 1 whetstone, and like literally buy like a magic weapon like high tier in Act 9 or Act 10, and you're gonna end up having like a way higher DPS weapon, because this is just atrocious, right? So yeah, this is not what we're going to be talking about. Basic stuff over here. We're going to start with melee damage over here. The general theme, as you're going to notice, is that first we want to get as much damage and attack speed as possible to make the killing faster and movement faster, and then slowly we want to I don't know, about after Act 6, Act 7, we want to start investing into defenses and some life. So we're going to start over here. We're just getting this cluster over here for damage. Then Born to Fight. Then these 4 points, very powerful. This also gives attack speed, so very nice to have. Of course, one disclaimer, I probably don't even have to mention that, but of course, throughout the entire game, throughout the entire campaign, we're going to be using a two-handed weapon. So something to keep in mind, right? This is very important, these 2 points, because this will give you dexterity and intelligence for a very long time. You're not going to need more. And also, the moment you allocate these is going to give you ability to use Frostblink, even if you don't have like some intelligence on your amulet or something like that. So there we go. Then the life over here, Warrior's Blood, and then at this point you want to probably just start investing into this cluster, which is going to be fine. Or what I did in the run before, I just went straight into attack speed over here. And that's totally fine to do, because more attack speed is faster leap slam. This is all we care about, and it's still more damage, right? It's still more damage. It's going to give you a leech too, so it's nothing to sneeze at. And then you take this, depending on which one you want to take first. And then we go this way. You can allocate Unwavering Stance at this point to get yourself stun immunity. Most likely worth it. But if you feel like you're not struggling with stuns, you can just take it later. It's fine. And then you take this cluster for damage over here. And then important, we're going straight up here, because that is going to give us these nodes. Generally speaking, are very powerful, because that's a little bit damage. Some regeneration, which is nothing to sneeze at always. It, makes it a little bit more enjoyable to play, especially with the Degen from Blood Rage. Then the Bravery for life, and Art of the Gladiator, probably the most important one, because it gives you a lot of attack speed, accuracy. This will solve your accuracy problems, give you more movement speed, dexterity for stat requirements. Really good, really strong. Then you keep on going this way. Towards the end, I do believe, yeah, I could like literally just skip that dexterity node completely. But if you're gonna need this one or this one, feel free to go for these. Then you're going down, and from there, I would say that first you should go for these attack speed nodes over here, and then for the damage nodes over here. Then you can invest into this cluster over there. That's going to make your hits always ignore physical damage reduction, gives you additional damage. Pretty nice. Or you can start, if you feel like you don't have enough life at this point, you can start going this way and invest into this life cluster. At this point, you have 2 options. You can either invest into this Fortify cluster and, just have a very nice defensive modifier. I'm just going to put a disclaimer here that I don't really think that you're going to have any problems dying. On my previous run, and I had like, 12 or 1300 life in Act 5, I did my previous practice run deathless. In this one, I think I died once or twice, maybe. I don't know, but it's probably because I wasn't paying attention to begin with. But yeah, with this fortified cluster, even if your life is going to seem a little bit low at this point, you're still going to feel pretty tanky because you're gonna have capped resistances from chieftains. So then you want to get the rage cluster over here that will give you rage generation. Inherent rage loss starts 1 second later, which is going to make your rage uptime very high, and then additional 10% damage basically from intimidation. Very, very good over there. And at this point, you are pretty much left with, at this point, you just want to keep on going here to get the armor nodes and the life nodes. Well, armor is not necessarily really important here. You want to take the life nodes over here, or over here, life nodes over here, and after that, you want to start going this way to get this cluster over here. The reason why I did this tree the way I did is because in many places, the nodes will save you a lot of respecking. I'm just going to put it this way, because many of these nodes are similar, are going to be the same compared to what you want your passive tree to look like after swapping to Brutus with Crown of Ice. So basically, the way this tree looks like right here is going to be like pretty efficient, and it's not going to like make you swap the entire tree, respect the entire tree, if you're going to decide that this is time to swap, right? So this is more or less how the tree looks like. The skill gems, I don't think I need to really talk about them because, as I mentioned before, the most important thing is to have mobility supports on your Leap Slam, Sunder with melee physical damage, Fist of War, Ruthless, Herald of Ash with precision, Frost Blink, and an intimidating cry with Blood Rage. One thing I'm going to mention, I didn't have appropriate colors, unfortunately, but you can absolutely support Blood Rage with automation, which you're going to get in Act 3. I think that getting automation with Blood Rage is going to be a very... Let me put it this way. If you remember to always use it and you're looking when it's down, then it's not mandatory at all. But even this run, it made me lose like 10 minutes probably, because having Blood Rage and not having Blood Rage is a really big difference. You can truly like see the difference in speed. So yeah, that's basically it. Now into the most important part, but that's in a second. Okay, so now probably the question that appeared on the stream the most, and probably in YouTube comments too. When are you supposed to swap? So you have two options. Number one, you can just keep on playing the Sunder build until the maps, and then even you can like run like some white tier maps until you're gonna get like let's just say that you get really unlucky during the campaign and you found no chaos at all and nothing to trade for whatsoever, and I don't know, for some reason Brutus is 4 chaos instead of 1 this league. Then you can still keep on going even with white maps until you're going to get enough currency for Brutus and Crown of Ice. But most importantly, Brutus. Crown of Ice is huge, right? Because Crown of Ice is going to give you so much damage at this point. But yeah. Option number 2 is depending on what the prices will be. During the campaign, the moment you find your first like 2 chaos from like, I don't know, Strongbox or something like that, you can just immediately swap. And basically, you're going to stop investing into all of these nodes over here. You're going to want to like respec immediately from the two-handed clusters, and start investing into something like strength, maybe more life, all that stuff, right? Maybe you're gonna see like some attack speed over here. Long story short, into the tree that is low, the lowest budget from the PoE, I'm going to show you in the description. Right, so if you want to keep on going with Sunder, I would recommend honestly to not like horse around with Brutus and just wait until the end of the campaign, then swap and respec all the points that you need, and this is going to feel smooth because Sunder, once again, 4 hours for me in the campaign, slightly above 4 hours for for a better player. They could do like 3 hours 40 minutes or something like that. So this is still very, very, very good, right? It's like way above the average. So you can totally just do this build, or if you want to, you can swap the moment you get enough currency to the feudal peasant budget. and then you're going to pretty much get these uniques, right? You're gonna get Brutus, you're gonna get Crown of Ice, you're gonna get Rise of the Phoenix. That's not mandatory, but you know it's going to give you a lot of defense. And Albern's Warpath. This is going to be guaranteed 1 chaos. This is going to be almost guaranteed 1 chaos. Crown of Ice, I doubt it's going to be more than few. But last league it was immediately pretty much like 1 chaos or 2 chaos or something like that. So yep. And at this point, obviously, you just want to try to find some fire resistance, some strength, and some life on all of your pieces of gear, and that's it. That's literally what you want to do. Up to you if you decide to go for option number 1 or option number 2. You should have one disclaimer though. You should have enough. If you let's just say that you have currency, you finish the campaign, right? And you have the tree from from the campaign run, from the Thunder run. You should have enough passive points to respec and gold to like respec all the points that you need and straight up go for a tree like this. You should have enough. If you're not gonna have enough, you're gonna run a couple maps, find 2 or 3 regrets, farm a little bit of gold, then you're going to respec literally after a few maps and you're golden, right? So something to keep in mind. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Right after you switch into this, the build should already feel. This is someone mentioned in the previous video, right? That these numbers are deceptive, right? Because for Smite, you don't only get the melee hit, you also get the area hit at the same time. So this is going to be 450,000 damage with, this is 5 chaos budget, basically. With these items, there is a very good chance that you would pick something better from the ground at this point. And 450, but that does not include the buff from Chieftain that we received in this league, and also, and most importantly, that does not include the rune grafts. And this is huge because I saw, for example, in Ziggy D's video, he was doing this rune graft crafting, and in Act 1 he got a rune graft that was giving him basically permanent cover Nash. So that is additional 20% damage, and on top of that you're gonna get some extra stats from the rune grafts themselves. It's safe to say that with cover and Nash rune graft, you're going to be at this point doing about 600,000 damage. And this is Shaper, by the way. This is Shaper damage with 5 chaos budget. And with you're about to be like 90 all res. So in my opinion, very solid, right? Nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. Very solid. Of course, I know there's some starters that will do like 1 million damage with basically no items. Sure. But this build is going to outscale them. Most likely very quickly. Because this is just how it works. You're going to get one upgrade here, all of a sudden you're going to go from 600,000 to 2 million. That's just how strength stackers work. So this is what it is, because we get flat damage and percent damage from all the sources at the same time. So yep, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. If you're gonna have any questions, I'm going to read every single comment, and you can also join the Discord, ask questions as well. Join the stream tomorrow. We're going to be doing another practice run. There is one more video for me to release before the league start. It's going to be tomorrow or on Friday. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have time. But this is going to be a video. I'm going to put together all the POBs in this video, and this is going to be a showcase of a turbo endgame, giga cracked chieftain version. If someone wants to invest 200 300 divines into it or more, and get like 400 million Shaper DPS with this build in very end game, then I'm going to give you guys a version of that as well. If for example, if you're a player that only wants to play one build a league, then this is going to be something to strive for. So yeah, that's going to be like tomorrow or on Friday. So thank you very much for watching, guys. See you in the next video, and bye bye.